Hi, yes, I'm the manager at this local theater. I understand you've been waiting to see me. You had a complaint?
Yeah. Sorry. I had an issue and I wanted a refund or a type of stipend or something because I saw the wrong movie.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, sir. Here at the AMC 16 in Burbank, we take our service to the customers very seriously. And if someone sold you the wrong ticket or led you into the wrong theater, that is completely on us. And I apologize so much.
Yeah. I'm not sure if someone sold me the wrong ticket or ushered. I honestly bought a ticket. I bought my tickets online, and I came here to see Big Fat Greek Wedding. Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah, of course.
The reshowing of it.
The delightful Nia Vardalos romp about getting married when your family gets in the way. I've seen it a few times. We've been screening it for a while.
Yeah, and I came to see it and got some snacks, and I went in and I sat down, and it had started. I was running a little late.
Yeah, of course.
And I realized I guess when the credits started rolling.
The opening credits?
No, the ending credits rolled, and I was like, wait a second. This is Mamma Mia?
So you sat through, let me see, I understand this correctly, and we'll try to get you processed and sorted here right away, but you bought a ticket to My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and you sat through the entirety of Mamma Mia, not realizing until the end that you were in the wrong film?
Well, first of all, they were in Greece. There was a wedding, a big wedding that they were trying to get ready for.
Yeah, okay.
I was very confused by all the singing.
Right.
I know that My Big Fat Greek Wedding was like critically acclaimed and people loved it.
Yeah.
This other movie was fucking god awful.
Yeah, it's bad. I've seen it a bunch too. It really takes ABBA songs that you may like or have some tolerance for and just rakes them over a minefield and makes you watch it. I'm curious, once they started singing ABBA, you were familiar of the existence of Mamma Mia before you bought your ticket to My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right?
No.
Okay, so maybe that explains it a little bit. But once they all started singing ABBA, I feel like you should have maybe understood that you were in the wrong theater or something wrong was going on. And if you had then at that point gotten up and come found me or an usher, I'm sure could have pointed you in the right direction. It's a little bit hard. You don't give someone a refund if they ate their entire cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have to flag it before.
Sir, are you saying the customer is wrong?
I'm agreeing with you that you saw the wrong movie.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't know what ABBA is or who or when ABBA. I don't know anything about ABBA. Okay, first of all.
It's a pop group.
Sure. Okay. Second of all, listen.
They're Swedish. They had a bunch of hits in the 70s.
It's 2008, sir.
Yeah, I know.
Why? Anyways.
Well, because they're standards. They're timeless standards.
Okay, I just need a stipend. I need a coupon. I need a voucher. I need some other physical form, or just let me go watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Actually, I don't want to.
What if we let you watch My Big Fat Greek?
Very upset.
What if we let you watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding right now, or you can come back at a later time?
I would like to come back at a later time because right now I'm upset. I've got a lot of butter and salt in me, and I can't stop fucking hearing "Mamma Mia."
It kind of sounds like
we go again.
I don't need to hear it again. I've heard that. If we screen
so
it,
nice to meet
we screen it 4 times a day. Please don't sing it. It's gonna get stuck in my head. What if you take a moment, you digest a little bit? I feel like you would be taking advantage of us if you didn't just go and sit and see My Big Fat Greek Wedding right now. It's a lovely film. I think you'll really enjoy it, and maybe. We can rectify things that way.
Okay, if
it's right down the hall,
go sit through another Greek movie, there better not be any type of singing.
Nope, there's no singing.
Okay, I don't want to see any lambs on a spigot. On a spick.
Yeah.
I don't want to see family members accosting other family members. And I'd also like a large wild cherry icy.
Why did you want to see My Big Fat Greek Wedding anyway? It seems like you are anti-Greek.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm at this Greek girl at the grocery store.
Oh, okay. Tale as old as time.
We were both reaching for eggplant.
Mm-hmm.
And she was we got to talking, and she was telling me how she loved, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and she was looking for someone, and she just wished she had her own love story. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I acted like I had seen the movie. And I pretended like I had seen the movie, not knowing anything about the movie. And I have a date with her later tonight, and I have to watch this movie.
Okay. All right. I understand. Let's get you in that theater. You can watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I will give you a notepad and a light so that you can take notes in the theater. If anyone tells you to shush, just tell them you've talked to management, and we will get you ready for this date.
Thank you, because I didn't want to leave the theater the first time, because if I was wrong, then I would have left the theater and I would have missed the movie and I would have been screwed. And I also didn't want to get up during the movie and disturb anyone.
Oh, if you told her that you'd seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding and then you just started going in on Mamma Mia, you would look like an absolute fool.
Yes.
Just a buffoon of the highest order, sir. So let's get you in. Next screening starts in 2 minutes. It's this theater right here. So you just go on. I'll give you a voucher for some popcorn if you'd like. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, sure. But I'd also like a large wild cherry icy. Is that cool?
You're really taking me for a ride here. Okay, yes, fine. The wild cherry icy. Sir, you're walking into Blade 3, okay? You don't do this again. Big Fat Greek Wedding is to your right.
To my right?
To your
Okay. Oh, they put the
title of the movie above the door. We try to make it pretty easy.
Oh, see, I went into the movie started at 3, so I went into the theater 3 thinking that's why it happened.
Okay, I don't need to know how you screw up your life, sir. All right, I'm just trying to help you out here. So if you get your ass in that seat.
That wasn't necessary.
Oh, none of this was necessary. Okay, I don't even have to let you watch this movie. I should send you on that date with your Mamma Mia intel, and you can go look like a fool in front of your Greek woman.
Hey, man. All I know is I'm going to know this movie. I'm going to talk to her about it, and I'm excited to see what she thinks about my favorite movie, Batman Forever.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, you're by far the strangest person that's ever walked into this Burbank movie theater. I want to put you go see any movie you want. Go walk movie to movie to movie to movie for the rest of the afternoon. Just get out of my face, please, sir. Hello, coming to you from the island of Kalokairi in Burbank, California. This is the Film vs. Film podcast bonus episode. I am your host, Quinn Boys. I have seen over 24 films in my life, and they've all been the correct movies that I intended to see when I set out to watch them. And I am joined by my co-host, as always, Leonard Smith Jr., who has not been as successful, as accurate in his movie picks. Sometimes he sits down to watch a movie and he just watches something else, because this episode we are talking about, it's a bonus episode, and it's the Leonard Fucked Up edition. And Leonard, what are we explain yourself.
Hey, man, I've seen a lot of movies, and when you see movies, you like to get high beforehand sometimes, and sometimes you sit through an entire movie and realize this isn't the movie I set out to watch.
Right.
And then you just watch another, because if you smoke weed, you probably don't have a job, you're probably a degenerate.
Well, don't go stereotyping people, Leonard. A lot of very successful people are pot smokers. Elon Musk.
Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Joe Rogan. Former President Bill Clinton.
Former President George Bush.
Former President Barack Obama. All right. Well, there's a lot of people who have smoked weed and managed to run the country, let alone find the right movie. I
can't blame it on the weed. Okay, I fuck up sometimes.
Maybe decide the movie. If I don't want to set your order, but maybe make sure you have the movie, then smoke, then press play.
Okay, I'm gonna work on that.
Because this week, if you listen to the season 2 of our podcast, you already know we are watching and talking about the two movies that Leonard watched by mistake.
And if you are listening and didn't listen to the season, you chose a weird episode.
It's a
for
weird
your
episode,
first listen,
but maybe it's fun because the stakes are off. I have lost the season series, unfortunately, so we were just talking about two movies that really I don't think any prompt could bring these two movies together. So this could only be talked about by you screwing up.
Yeah, I don't know what prompt could bring these two movies together.
Maybe that's the thing. By the end of this episode, we'll have to decide what the prompt would have been that would link these two movies. We are, of course, talking about the 2008 jukebox musical Mamma Mia, based on the discography of Swedish pop band ABBA, and the 1995?
No,
1995, I think. 2 was Batman Returns, which was the movie you were supposed to watch.
Yes.
1995 disaster piece Batman Forever with Val Kilmer and Tommy Lee Jones and the inimitable Jim Carrey.
Don't forget Nicole Kidman.
And Nicole Kidman, of course. How could I forget? Two movies that are bad, I think. Pretty,
very bad.
Maybe that's going to be the prompt. Bad movies.
Bad.
But
bad in what type of way?
Yeah.
Well, they both had pretty good actors in like certain roles in both movies. Like Jim Carrey was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He was over the top as fuck, but that was his character. It was very cartoonish, very like a comic type feel to it.
Yeah.
Which I think they were trying to go more back to after the very dark, sinister, creepy Batman Returns.
Yeah, for sure. That Batman Returns, there's a little bit of behind the scenes on that. Was I think Batman Returns made like $150 million less than Batman. And obviously Batman was a huge hit. Batman Returns was a hit as well and was well received, but it was not on the same level. And so Tim Burton, who had directed the first two movies, stepped down. The studio wanted something more kid-friendly. I think like in Batman Returns, McDonald's pulled its Happy Meal pairing because it was like, this movie is not for kids
at all.
Kind
and
of.
like back then, adults weren't looking for superhero movies. It was more aimed towards children.
Yeah.
And comic book stands and whatnot. And that's why I just really felt like it wasn't family friendly and it wasn't a Christmas movie, but I digress.
So they were like, we need to reset. I'm not even going to take the bait on that. We need to reset. And so we're, Michael Keaton left with Tim Burton. So we're recasting Batman. We're adding Robin, who's always been kind of a kiddier aspect of the Batman franchise. Yep. Chris O'Donnell. For any NCIS LA fans out here. And, it's absolutely like a reset. The tone is different. There's some things that they keep, like it's the same butler. It's clearly supposed to be the same world. We've got the same Alfred. We've got the same Commissioner Gordon, but it's a totally different kind of flashier, more spandex nippled Batman.
Yeah, it's brighter. They tried to be funnier.
Yeah,
they try to be funny in a different way though. So it's just like, I feel like in Batman there's like some humor to things, but it was just like a dark, like kind of like a.
You can tell pretty early because there's like the first scene is, the first like big set piece is that Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, who on its face that feels like a really interesting, cool casting, and apparently he took it because he wanted to make a movie that his kids would like or something.
It did not work at all.
Which is that's never a good. Anytime you hear an actor be like, I took this movie because my kids, I want to do something for my kids. It's like, run. This is not going to be a good. You're doing this to be a good dad. Like, I'm not.
You're Tommy Lee Jones. Your kids don't need to watch any of your movies.
Just show
You're
them
supposed
Men
to
in
be
Black.
running men down and shooting them.
Yeah. So that was first sign of trouble. But also, like, I think there's explosions and there's like a boing, 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 boing. Like they start using like old 60s Batman sound effects, and right away you kind of know like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
This is gonna be bad.
Yeah, and like both Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones, who I think are the most notable parts of this movie, playing the Riddler and Two-Face respectively, are like just both doing like, they're just kind of trying to be the Joker. Not to be like a Batman purist, but if you know these villains, these characters, neither of them are that like kooky crazy. Like the Riddler does riddles, which is more annoying than anything, but they're just like, I understand. You get Jim Carrey, he's going to be playing a jokey character, but
I feel like all the characters, it may have been the script. It can't necessarily be all the actors, but everything just felt like phoned in and kind of like one note. It was just like there was no depth. There was no It was all just like surface level, like, oh, we're all gonna be kooky and crazy, and Val Kilmer's just gonna try to like be cool the whole time. And
that's where I kind of divert. So like, if you want to do the 60s Batman, you're trying to take it back to the camp Batman, because I know everyone now is like, Batman has to be uber serious and dark. But I understand it also has history in being ridiculous. It's a guy who wears spandex with little pointy ears at the top. It's kind of there's a lot of room for humor. But then why would you hire Val Kilmer, who plays it very straight? He plays it like he's in a Tim Burton Batman movie.
Yeah.
And it's like you got Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey doing somersaults around him, and none of it works. Like, if you're going to embrace the 60s camp, get someone like Adam West, who was the 60s Batman.
Yeah, I wonder who would you think may have been at the time would have been a better Batman choice? Because, like you said, him plus with Chris O'Donnell, it just really didn't play. Because they had like, Chris O'Donnell was supposed to be younger, way younger than what he was actually was. He was playing way younger, but he was like some goofy kid, and they have like the fun scene where he's like flipping around and getting to the door and discovering the Batcave,
doing laundry gymnastics.
Yeah, and it was just like, while Val Kilmer's like, these numbers don't feel right. And oh yes, I'm dating a therapist, so everything is like. They also try to be like on a different level as far as like people's psychological issues and dealing with like therapy and stuff, but then it was like they were trying to be like a Tim Burton movie, but also be like kitschy and like have kids involved and be like, oh, we could sell McDonald's toys and Happy Meals. It just didn't make sense.
They were trying to have their Happy Meal and eat it too. That's a really good question of who, if not Val Kilmer. Weirdly, Michael Keaton got his start. Like, he was originally known for being a comedic actor, and he is a comedian, and he's still very funny. And I feel like had Joel Schumacher, the director of this movie, been the first person to make Batman, and they'd still had Michael Keaton, he probably could have been not Adam West, but like a comic version of that character. But by the time he was already the kind of Batman that he was for Tim Burton, it doesn't make sense for him to just change tone. So I'm looking on the Wikipedia, and it says that Billy Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers, was considered, as was Ethan Hawke. I think Ethan Hawke
could have been.
If you're doing silly, I think he's closer to Val Kilmer. Billy Baldwin, just because the Baldwin brothers are so ridiculous in general, like maybe could have like delivered some of those lines with the stupid confidence of Adam West. But I don't know who else I would have picked. Do you have any thoughts for that? We're already recasting Val Kilmer. We've talked about this movie for 5 minutes, and we're like, get this guy out of here.
I'm trying to think. My first thought was Brendan Fraser.
Oh, Brendan Fraser is exactly what we're talking about. The tone, that feels exactly right to me, actually. I really like that idea. And Brendan Fraser in 1995,
he was fit.
Would have looked the part.
Yeah, because he like
those George of the Jungle muscles.
Like before he did big action movies, so like it could have worked.
No, he was in firm George of the Jungle territory at this point.
Yeah. So he was like really fit at the time. Like he could have been. He was skinny. You know what I'm saying? But he was like very fit because George of the Jungle, he's like got his shirt off the entire goddamn movie.
He's got his shirt off that whole movie. Yeah.
Watch out for that tree.
Yeah, I really like that. And of course, if we're talking about the cast, we've mentioned Chris O'Donnell. What's your take on Chris O'Donnell? Because he was, for better or worse, like Robin to me growing up, because he was in 2 of these movies as Robin.
And did he kill himself?
No.
Is Chris O'Donnell? Oh wait, Chris O'Donnell's still alive. I'm tripping. He's on NCIS.
I hope that I'm not. Yeah, no, he's alive.
Wasn't there somebody from one of the Batman movies or one of the Robins like killed themselves or?
Oh, I hope not. I mean, very possibly this could be a huge blind spot. But everyone listening right now, Chris O'Donnell is alive.
I didn't want to speak ill of the dead. But
you're gonna trash him then? He's alive. You can trash him.
No. Chris O'Donnell. Honestly, Chris O'Donnell was good as Robin. He was fun.
Yeah, he's fun.
It just didn't fit. I guess it made sense because Batman's supposed to be serious, and it's like, all right, there's this new young kid who takes the fucking Batmobile out and tries to save some girl, and that was a weird scene.
Yeah. Chicks dig the car.
Chicks dig the car.
But I love the Tim Burton movie. I'm sorry, the Joel Schumacher movies introduce like the neon gangs. Like it's just gangs. I don't think these guys would.
Where did they get all this black light paint?
I don't know. These guys would not survive in in the real world with like the Bloods and the Crips, the Latin King. It was like Latin, you can't have like we are the fluorescent gang.
You're getting shot, motherfucker. We can see you at night.
You cannot hide if you're the fluorescent gang.
but I've got a staff that glows.
Who just did this drive-by? Do we have any word? Well, I don't know. They rolled down the window and I was blinded by his face paint. So.
Also, like when they commit crimes, it's like we know who committed these crimes.
I just imagine you wouldn't even need to use a black light. You just turn off the light and all of their fluorescent paint would just immediately glow and leave fingerprints all over it.
It's like, all right, we're just gonna go to the paint store.
Yeah.
And
there's a guy who's dressed like Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus. Like, you know, they just have like the skeleton like face paint and stuff. Yeah.
Oh man,
it's bad luck.
Yeah. So, you know, it was just bad all around. Tommy Lee Jones was trying to outdo Jim Carrey, which he couldn't do, or not even outdo, but try to keep up with Jim Carrey, and it just did not work.
He gets progressively crazier throughout the movie. I think as a response to what he probably rightfully understood as Jim Carrey just like eating the scenery and was like, I'm not going to be upstaged by this Ace Ventura. Let me go fucking big. And it doesn't work.
Also, the whole thing with the Two-Face character made no sense because both of his sides were crazy. Even the calm and like regular Harvey Dent side was also fucking insane.
The only time that I can recall, correct me if I'm wrong, Leonard, but like it's the beginning of the movie where he's talking to the cop and he's like, you know, waiting for Batman to show up at the bank, and you see the half of his face. They don't reveal the other side. And he's talking as relatively calm, cool, collected DA Harvey Dent. Yeah, exactly like you said. The whole thing about Two-Face is his duality. He's the, you know, it's a Jekyll Hyde thing. Yeah. And one side is one. And then like, you know, when he's bad, it's like Two-Face taking over. And they just drop that entirely after the first scene, and it doesn't. Yeah, he does everything by the coin. If the coin lands, he will listen to the coin, and if
he's a fucking man who's obsessed with a coin. And he's a crazy man who has a fucked up face and has two girlfriends.
Yeah,
who one dresses the devil, one dresses the angel, but they're all crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
Shout out to Drew Barrymore in a cameo role as the light. You know. The light side
angelic.
Of Two-Face. Yeah, the angelic side. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we've talked about one piece of hot garbage. Let's talk about another. Unless there's something you want to add, we can always come back.
No, yeah, I'm sure we'll come back to it. But I was like waiting for the transition moment. There is no transition moment. These movies are too, other than just again bad movie. You got really upset at me. Can you actually? Well, let's lead into Mamma Mia by just talking about one more time your mistake. It was the week of the Glow Up movie. I had submitted to you My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and then what?
I knew nothing about Mamma Mia, so I just assumed it was a Glow Up movie or a makeover movie.
Fair enough.
And I knew they were singing about. I don't even know how I came to believing or like deciding that you chose Mamma Mia.
Because I texted you. I definitely, like, it was in text. It was in writing. I only, so because you could have gone back and referenced the text.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all I know is I was very upset. I was very upset.
And very high.
Literally pushed, like, I try to watch the movie at least a day or like two before we record, so it's like fresh in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I was pushing this off. Like, I pushed it off until like the last moment to watch this movie because I knew that it was like a type of musical or something, and I knew a little bit about it. And I was just like, I already went into it being like, all right, I don't want to watch this and it's going to be bad, which is probably not the best way to go into it, but it was bad.
I think a lot of my picks, you felt that way.
Yes.
You've been like, I don't want to watch this. This will be bad.
But it was bad. I was cursing your name to everyone, my roommates.
You texted me. You don't always text me. We usually save our bullets for the recording. You texted me while you were watching it, and of course you didn't say I'm watching Mamma Mia, but you were like, again, I thought you were watching My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is the film I gave you, and that's a film, as we talked about on the episode, that has a certain. I'm not saying it's like an actual great movie, but I certainly enjoy it, and it has a special place in my memory from seeing it when I was young with my mom and blah blah blah. And so I just get a real hot text from you like, I'm gonna fucking kill you for making me watch. It's something along those lines.
I hate you right now.
Oh yeah, it was I hate you right now, which is hurtful to me. And I was like, wow, Leonard is having a violent reaction to My Big. I was like, maybe you'll think this is corny, maybe you'll think this is like not a good pick, but it's 90 minutes of light comedy. How upset can you be? Now that I too have seen Mamma Mia, I get it. In fact, I was getting angry at you that we are doing this thing because you screwed up, and now I have to watch Mamma Mia, which is a movie I'd never seen.
Full circle, baby. So, what were your feelings on Mamma Mia?
Oh, it
was your first time watching it as well.
Yeah, and people like this movie, and I know that we'll come after each other's picks usually when there's a win on the line, but I think we respect all sorts of movies, and if you like musicals, and if you like, comedies and stuff, like, that's fine. We're not trying to be haters, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, but we're not seeking to be haters unless I pick Titanic. I've
talked to a few people who really like musicals and like this movie, and they still admit that this is a bad movie, but they like there are movies that I know that are bad, but I still like.
Yes, me too. And I think if that's what this movie is for you, then that's totally fine, but it is a bad movie. I feel pretty confident in saying, like, it's like drunk karaoke from a lot of like respected middle-aged stars, which is cool. They should be able to cut loose too, but the plot is so threadbare. Like, I can see how it works as a musical, but it does not translate because there's no plot to this movie. Like, they're all on this small fake Greek island of Kalokeri. And have you been to the Greek islands, Leonard? You should go if you haven't.
I have not.
You have not? I'll take you sometime, man. We got to go island hopping. My mom was born in Athens. We've been to Greece a few times in my life. I've been lucky enough to be on Santorini and Sifnos and some of the beautiful Greek islands where they filmed.
I'm just thinking about all the delicious like seafood and
the food is amazing. It's paradise. Yeah. It's paradise. So no duh, Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan. That's what I was going to say. They all wanted to do this movie.
Every single person, I understand why every single person decided to get paid hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to be on a Greek island for like a month and a half, 2 months.
And just singing like old songs that everybody already likes. So even if it's not that good, well, maybe not everybody likes ABBA, but like are, fine. Like it's, so I get it. But this is like what Adam Sandler has been accused of doing more recently, which is like you just take all your friends and go to an island and film a movie.
It's getting paid to go on vacation.
And I can only watch that for so long. And I hated it. This is it's a movie about Meryl Streep's 20-year-old daughter, played by Amanda Seyfried, who's getting married, and she doesn't know who her father is because her mom
had a wild summer, man.
Yeah, her mom had a wild summer 20 years ago, and she doesn't know the father, but it's one of three men, played by Pierce Brosnan, Stellan Skarsgård, and Colin Firth. Amanda Seyfried, unbeknownst to her mother, invites them all to her wedding the day before. Like, they arrive the day before her wedding, and then she's supposed to... She thinks
None of this shit makes any fucking sense.
It's making less sense than I'm explaining it. She thinks that her fathers are going to step off the boat onto this Greek island.
And she's going to know.
And she says, instantly. I will know. I will know instantly. That's not a paternity test.
Stupid girl.
Have you ever watched Maury? You don't just know.
You better hope Meryl Streep can run. Because she's going to get to running, and that cameraman's going to fucking chase her ass.
Maybe if one of her dads was black, she could at least know right away, like, we can rule out Leonard. Like, this is not my dad.
It's not my dad.
But it's just three white dudes from 3 different European countries just going, and she's like, oh, shit, I don't know. I thought this would be easier. And we never find out, by the way. I always love when you never find out.
They like, basically, they think they know.
They think who gives
they think it's Pierce Brosnan.
They think it's probably Pierce Brosnan,
who apparently has another family or something. And
but it's not like a secret family. Like, he and Meryl Streep just never worked out, so he got married when he went back home. Divorced his wife. Yeah,
and apparently Meryl Streep was fucking in the summer of 1979 or some shit, and then never fucked again for 20 years.
The whole premise of the movie is that Amanda Seyfried gets this idea because she reads her mom's sex diary, which is not a good idea. I hope to God there's no such document that my mom has, but if I ever found it, I would leave that shit in the drawer.
Yeah, I've never found that would be awful. I mean, I did search through VHS tapes, and that's how I discovered Working Girl.
I was about to say you would read your mom's sex diary, you freak, because you watch her porn or what you assumed to be her porn.
I didn't think it was her porn. I just thought it was porn.
You thought your mom just was carrying around porn called Working Girl?
There was a bunch of VHS tapes.
Hey, hold on to this porn for me, Leonard.
This was back when you recorded things off of HBO. Or you could record things. So I was like, who knows? Maybe this is some miscellaneous tape that, got recorded. And
you thought your mom accidentally recorded porn, labeled it, and put it on her shelf.
Hey, man. I don't know. it was amongst the tapes.
I think you probably thought it was like real sex or like those HBO things that purported to be documentaries, but really were
I
just.
honestly didn't think it was like porn, but I was like, there's gonna be boobs in this movie, and there were boobs.
There were boobs.
So,
congrats. It worked out for you.
Congratulations to me.
You thought you were gonna, have
I thought there'd be more boobs.
a masturbatory experience. Instead, you watched a film about female empowerment. So you bettered yourself.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to get that much deeper into the plot of it. That's the plot. Basically, eventually, Amanda Seyfried realizes she doesn't want to get married to Dominic Cooper. So Pierce Brosnan's like, well, we don't want to waste a good wedding, so he just marries Meryl Streep.
I completely blocked that out of my memory. I completely forgot that happened.
Yeah,
she doesn't even marry her fucking fiance?
No, because the whole thing was like, I guess her realizing that she wanted
getting
family,
married
but she didn't need to get married at 20.
If we have any young listeners out there, and I think we can look at our age breakdown, and don't get married.
Most of our listeners are 85 years old.
Yeah, don't get married young, okay? It's a fucking mistake. Don't do it.
Leonard, you've been married 3 times, so you.
Yeah, man, and I'm thinking 4th time's going to be the charm.
We're just building that into your backstory.
Yeah, but okay, yes. I do remember being upset, but like, okay, they're just going to marry? Like, I know Meryl Streep characters probably hasn't had sex in 20 years, but god damn.
That's talked about a lot, too, yeah. This is an incredibly horny movie for the older set. Like, Amanda Seyfried's like, I don't need to get married, but it's cool, but like, every old person is thirsting in this movie, and that includes her friends, Christine Baranski and Molly Weasley. I don't remember her actual name, but she plays Molly Weasley in there.
Yeah, for somebody who apparently has that type of sexual appetite, I'm supposed to believe you ain't you only got one life to live. Fuck, people. Go out there and fuck. Masturbate. Do something. Just make sure you're getting off, okay? We all need release.
Can I have a well, we should talk about the singing in this movie. But can I have a Leonard moment? Can I like hold the floor and do what Leonard is usually able to do on this podcast and just say, where are all the Greek people in this movie? This is a movie set on a fictional Greek island, but a Greek island nonetheless. And everybody that we run into is English or American or...
Is he supposed to be from Russia? Who's the third guy?
Stellan Skarsgård is, I think, German or...
German.
We should get that right. But he's not Greek. And I guess Pierce Brosnan is Irish. But
there's actually a couple black people in it.
There are black people in this, which good for this movie. But maybe
they're like the black Greek people that like came from Africa and now they're Greek.
The only Stellan Skarsgård is Swedish. I should have known that by his name. But there is only like the only Greek people in this movie is a literal Greek chorus that just sort of sings like the backing of a lot of these movies, and these movies need a lot of backup singing.
A lot of backup singing.
And it's offensive, okay? If you're going to come and you're going to live your little paradise on this Greek island, I want to see at least one guy who like is always eating pistachios who's like Meryl Streep's best friend, okay? I'm offended by this movie.
Yeah, man. Some American comes to Greece, takes a little hotel in the island, and she just runs the island, huh?
There should be one guy riding a donkey up a hillside, with a push cart. Like, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not even saying... Go to the stereotypes if you want, but get some Greek representation in your Greek movie. Who's the worst singer in this movie, Leonard? I think I know who it is, and it hurts me. But what was your impression?
Meryl Streep.
Oh, okay.
No, maybe Meryl Streep, or what's her name? Her like tall best friend,
Christine Baranski.
Oh no, she was good. Wait, is it the short best friend?
I think that might be Julie Walters. I'm looking through the cast here.
Pierce Brosnan, too.
Pierce Brosnan is the correct answer.
Pierce Brosnan was bad.
Pierce Brosnan is being, like, gargling while he's singing in this movie.
That's how that half singing, like that half voice talking singing. That's how I sing.
This is why if you're going to do a vacation movie just to go to the Greek islands, make it Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, because those motherfuckers won't make you sing. Like, if you're going to do this movie... he'd already been James Bond.
I don't understand that reference. But.
He's just, I think that, I haven't seen it. I think that movie's also in Greece. But if you're going to do this movie, like Pierce Brosnan's just resting on his laurels. He's post James Bond. He's in the back nine.
He's just sexy old man.
He's just a sexy old man. But like, I would be like, hey guys, if you want to dub me, that's cool. Like, I don't know why everybody was like...
I can't believe they wanted to be able to say that everyone actually sang their parts.
And how are you as like a vocal judge? Because I'm one of those people that I could never watch American Idol because once they whittled it down, like obviously I can pick out the William, I can pick out the William Hungs or whatever, but once they whittle it down to like the top 12, And no disrespect to people who have great voices, but to me, to my ears, it's all the same level of good.
Yeah.
And so you'd see some performances and I'd be like, that was really good. That was really good. And then sometimes Paula or Simon or Randy would be like, no, actually that was bad. And I'd be like, oh, I guess it was. I can't hear it. So
I can't say I have a great ear for that, but I think I can tell, be like, all right, this person can sing any song. And then you hear certain voices like, all right, there's only a certain style that they can do. And they can't do anything else. They don't have a certain vocal range.
Right. Well, I said I could pick out the William Hungs, and William Hung is all over this movie, and Pierce Brosnan is the prime example. It's like worse probably than Russell Crowe in the Les Mis movie. Like it's some pretty bad.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah. And
I had to do Les Mis. I did Les Mis when I was in high school, and
you performed Les Mis in high school?
Yeah, I mean there are black people in it, so
I don't know that much about Les Mis, but I would hope that your high school wasn't like
my high school in Virginia that I went to before I moved to Atlanta. We had the #1 theater program in the state of Virginia.
That's dope. Yeah,
so we did Les Mis.
Were you Jean Valjean?
I was mistaken, Jean Valjean, because Jean Valjean was black. Was like a senior. I was a freshman, and he was senior, and he was black, and he was like a skinny, light skinned, like tall black dude, and the other person was me. And I was like, if this isn't the truest thing, it's some black guy. It has to be Jean Valjean. It's like I'm 3 shades darker than this dude. I'm fat.
Who in this high school are we going to cast as someone who's getting 15 years in prison for stealing bread? Probably some. Yeah. Well, that's I'm learning new things about you every week, Leonard. That's amazing. I wish there was video. Is there video of that?
There probably is.
I was Willy Wonka in my 8th grade performance, my middle school 8th grade performance of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There was no singing though, because it would have been a Pierce Brosnan situation.
Wow.
There is video of that, although I don't have it.
I think with Les Mis, we were like maybe the first high school to do it with the turning stage. Because like the stage thing is like
the Hamilton thing.
Yeah, like it was like we had like a tech theater program as well. So like we had like the biggest like state theater or like a stage in the city. So it was like if anybody came to perform, they came to our high school to perform. But we also like the first high school to do Civil War off Broadway, and I got to play Frederick Douglass.
Wow.
Yeah, man. This is like being black came in handy a couple times for me.
Well, I'm just trying.
But when
I did not know you
that,
had a musical theater background.
When I did that, someone else had to sing my solos because I can't sing, man. And I was very self-conscious about it, but I can't sing.
How does that work? Do you just move your lips like Ashley Simpson, or
no? It would just be like, all right, it's time for you to sing, and I would like stand, and someone else would come out and sing. It's just like, bro, it is what it is.
So what? The light would just dim on you and go on someone else?
I believe so. I can't remember. It was bad, but I was still happy. That I could play like a titular role and like not have to sing.
That does sound like the best case scenario. I think they should have absolutely explored that. Like Meryl Streep is not obviously a singer first or second or third or fourth, but I think she has the right energy for this movie. She wasn't
the worst.
Yeah, she
wasn't the worst.
She like comes through it. Amanda Seyfried obviously has a good voice.
Yes.
Yes. But even that, like, there's that song where she's singing to her boyfriend on the beach. What's the song? It's whatever, it doesn't matter.
About like the things that they do for each other. That's the one where he has the cigar in his hand.
Yeah, that might have been.
It was just funny because this was a jukebox musical. How like they had to force things in.
"Lay All Your Love on Me," I think was the song that they were singing, and yeah, exactly. They had to force all the songs in, and even like that's a song that I feel like it's just like having too good a voice for ABBA doesn't totally make sense either, because the songs are kind of like, you don't. It's not like.
It's not about your vocal range. It's more just about like the production and of having fun and it being just like a.
It just didn't work for me.
It didn't work.
I wasn't feeling it, dog.
Okay, so
the Randy of it all.
Let's what prompt would fit these two movies?
Should have thought more about this. I don't know. Well, let's maybe we'll find it. Let's talk a little bit. All right, so if we're gonna go through our normal list, I mean, pop culture. I think like,
well, one's a Batman movie,
so it's always kind of part of it. But like, I think Jim Carrey's Riddler is probably the biggest thing. Maybe Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face has like a weird cautionary tale, but I don't think anyone really remembers anything other from that movie. Prime Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman's great. I mean, the character is silly, but like, you know, it works. But it's pretty much the Riddler. And then I think like Pierce Brosnan's bad singing and just Meryl Streep doing a musical is like mostly the takeaway. I don't know that there's any scene or just sort of like them doing the movie on a Greek island. It feels like the idea of the movie is more, but I don't know. We didn't watch this movie, so it's hard for me to say what holds up culturally for Mamma Mia.
What do you mean we didn't watch this movie?
I'm sorry, we didn't watch it before this podcast. So like, I don't know the history of Mamma Mia. And so I did watch it, unfortunately, for this podcast. But before that, I can't speak to like what's...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the fact that it was on both of our radars, it had some type of pop cultural influence, even though we'd never seen it. But I mean, you just can't be Batman, Jim Carrey, you know?
Yeah. All right, so how do they both hold up? I mean, I think like... It's hard to talk about like bad movies holding it. Like the quality hasn't gotten any better. I don't know that the quality has gotten worse for either. I mean, Batman Forever was a hit. I think now, like financially, I think now it's kind of like a footnote. I don't think people really come back to it much. Again, unless you're like watching Jim Carrey movies, but
it's just a fucking rung on the ladder, man.
So I guess it has depreciated with time. Mamma Mia, I don't know if that's the case because it kind of just is what it is. I don't know that it's any worse or better today than you would have watched it.
I mean, they made a second one. I don't know how. But
that's true.
So
they got a second Mamma Mia, and Val Kilmer never got a second Batman.
I mean, it doesn't hold up as far as like the singing, but somehow it was allowed to happen again. So
how does surprising your mom and your 3 potential dads by tricking them into coming to your wedding hold up? That doesn't hold up.
Like, who has the time or the money to just be like, all right, this woman I had sex with 20 years ago, her daughter invited me to a wedding. Wait a second, her daughter, 20 years, wait a second. Like, who? None of them thought of this?
So we're moving right along.
Also, hold on.
Oh, okay.
One of the 3 dads turns out he's gay, right?
That was my... Okay, full disclosure. I may have watched the last 20 minutes of this movie on mute. Which is a tough thing to do for a musical, but I was kind of... I needed to be quiet, and I was kind of over it.
I believe he's gay. So why did he come to this fucking wedding? Is it just that, the stereotype that gay people love weddings? That's fucked up. Why did he come to the wedding?
Clearly was not interested in reconnecting with Meryl.
Yeah.
There was they kept saying to him throughout the movie, like, what are they, I'm trying to remember how they put it, but basically it was like, live a little. Like they would say like, don't be such a, don't be so buttoned up. Don't be so whatever. Like the idea was that he was repressed and now he was coming open and I guess coming out, which is great. But maybe it's because I was watching it on mute. It did feel like it sort of just slipped by. Like Pierce Brosnan gets Meryl Streep. And then they're like, okay, Stellan Skarsgård, you can have Molly Weasley. And so I was like, is Christine Baranski going to get with Colin Firth? But no, I think it was that he's gay, which is great. But it kind of comes way out of left field. I did not see that coming. But I may have not been paying close enough attention and missed some signs.
I wasn't paying close enough attention as well.
So maybe that holds up well. Maybe it doesn't. Was Gary Oldman in either of these movies, Leonard? I would love to see Gary Oldman as like the 4th dad. Just add a dad. Just see Gary Oldman singing.
Gary Oldman was not in either one of these films. I feel like
Jim
Gary
Gordon
Oldman
mustache
would be he would have been a great Two-Face, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean he's a good. Obviously, 2008 when Mamma Mia came out. This was the same year that he was Jim Gordon in The Dark Knight. So he's been in the Batman universe, but back in '95 he had no connection with it. I definitely think Two-Face. Yeah, he was like a skinnier guy. I could even have seen him be a very different Riddler, but yeah, he could have been either of those villains, and I'm torn on the Jim Carrey performance. I think it's a really fun Jim Carrey performance, and it pulls focus from the movie, but it's like a bad Batman movie, so I don't mind.
It's more of a Jim Carrey performance than a Riddler performance. He just he put his own twist on the Riddler.
True, which the Riddler is a character I don't. I was a big Batman fan growing up. I don't have much affinity for Riddler outside of the Jim Carrey performance because he's just that's the most annoying criminal. I'm going to commit a crime and I'm just going to leave a riddle because I hate nothing more than being stumped by a riddle. So I'm going to create a riddle and all the can we just say, I know it's for kids, all the riddles in this movie are trash. They're the easiest riddles. It's like, if you look at the numbers on my face, you won't find 13 anyplace. And then everyone's looking at it, scratching their head, and Batman's like, it's a clock. And everyone's like, the world's greatest detective. It's like, Take 2
Yeah.
seconds. Take 2 seconds
Yeah.
and read that again.
It's like, bro, come on, man. Like, you could have written something easier. I mean, harder than that.
If you're calling yourself the Riddler, you cannot be going out there being like, I am the Riddler. What's black and white and red all over? It's like the fucking newspaper, dude. Like, you need to come up with some better riddle.
Trash. Okay, stats.
So this is where it kind of gets interesting. I'll leave you for Batman Forever, but Mamma Mia, and this is off Wikipedia, it cost $52 million, which I assume was just
The island
was just filming on this Greek island. I mean,
oh wow,
Mamma Mia made
some money.
$615 million global box office in 2008.
wow! It made 100. Damn, it made only 143 million in the U.S., but globally it made 600 and what?
615. 143 for a $52 million movie musical based on ABBA. Like, that's impressive. But then you kick that out into the global box office. That's a huge smash hit. It's
Holy
amazing they didn't make a
fucking
sequel
shit.
quicker.
That's crazy. Wow.
I cannot explain it other than, I mean, we haven't mentioned, I think most people know, this is based obviously off the music of ABBA. This was also a very popular Broadway musical. So there might have been some interest in it from that as well. But like, I don't think anyone could have possibly thought this movie was going to make as much money as it did.
No.
And we just spent the past 20 minutes shitting on it, but they're laughing all the way to the bank. I mean,
we didn't only shit on it. Rotten Tomatoes, it's 55%.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a charitable, it's not a good movie, but I can definitely understand people who are like, yeah, but it's fun and it's light and I don't care.
The audience score is 66%.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are the people out there who like it. And then IMDb, it's a 6.4%. And these goddamn Google users have it ranked at 89%.
Wow.
So funny.
All right, take us to Batman Forever.
All right, so Batman. Ooh, Jesus Christ! Batman Forever cost $100 million to make. Not surprised.
Twice as much as Mamma Mia 13 years earlier.
And it's estimated, so it's even more money than that. It made $336 million,
which is a hit.
So basically, that's pretty litty, especially for 1995.
It's impressive. It's good, but considering it's the third Batman movie, it's nowhere near. Like, Mamma Mia is going to win box office or going to win stats hands down, I think.
This is a first. I feel like for me, I don't know if I've seen this. The Rotten Tomato score is 38%.
Wow,
which is fucking bad.
Yeah,
that's the tomato meter. The audience score is 32%.
Wow.
The audience score is lower than the tomato meter.
I wonder, because I was pretty young when the movie came out and was in theaters. I wonder if that was the reaction at the time, because I do think people initially were like into it. Because like 1995, was it 94 or 95? But it was like one of those years was the year of Jim Carrey. Like, he was just the highest paid actor and
like
comedian.
Cable Guy,
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
Oh man, Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
Like, he was huge.
The Mask.
And then he does this movie. And so, like, I don't know if it was like the glow of Jim Carrey or just like Batman. I feel like I remember the movie being better received.
Was a big reason why it even made as much money as it did.
Possibly. And I wonder if it's like only over time has that audience and critic approval rating eroded a little bit. But yes. I can't imagine this movie was getting anything better than mixed reviews even when it came out. So 38 seems fair.
It's a 5.4 on IMDb. And the Google users, 74%. That might be one of the lowest Google users I've ever seen out of all the movies.
Google users love everything.
I know Google users love everything. So,
okay, well, Mamma Mia is going to win it, but on our way out of stats, I just want to read some quotes from a few publications who've had some thoughts on Pierce Brosnan singing.
Okay.
The New York Magazine said he sounded like a water buffalo. The Philadelphia Inquirer was slightly less charitable. They said it sounded like a donkey braying. And the Miami Herald said it was a wounded raccoon.
Wow. Yeah. All animals.
Matt Brunson of Creative Loafing Charlotte said he looks physically pained, choking out the lyrics as if he's being subjected to a prostate exam just outside of the camera's eye. This has been a rough season for my man
he-
Pierce Brosnan. My favorite James Bond. I put forward GoldenEye. It loses. Leonard makes me watch Mamma Mia, a movie I would have been perfectly happy dying, never having seen, and now I have to watch it and see my man Pierce Brosnan. Just it's not good times. I mean, he's probably happy. He made a ton of money. This movie made a ton of money, and maybe he had a percentage of it. But like,
well, now I'm feeling better about your punishment because I feel like Twilight isn't that severe, but now that you had to also watch Mamma Mia.
yeah, this counts as my punishment because you didn't have to watch these this week. You had already watched them mistakenly, so we weren't even making you watch new movies or just making you talk about the movies you accidentally watched.
Oh man!
All right, let's settle on a more distinct prompt. But I guess the question is like, which of the movies? Oh, this is tough. Of the movies that you fucked up and watched, which was like
I'd rather watch
the better movie, or which was
That's actually a tough question.
It's really tough, right? Because I'm trying to think.
Because I don't want to say Mamma Mia, but it might honestly be Mamma Mia.
It might be Mamma Mia, which is wild because I think it's a movie we had more fun talking about how bad it was. And you would think, well, it's a Batman movie. It's probably at least like silly fun or whatever, but it's really not. The Joel Schumacher Batman movies, and we didn't even talk about Batman and Robin, which is the next one with George Clooney.
And Alicia Silverstone.
Like, they're boring too, which is like the worst
the
sin
story,
of all.
It's not even really a story.
Yeah. They try to like the whole, like the fact that this movie's called Batman Forever, in which they introduce Robin, and then the next movie where Robin is a mainstay and they introduce Batgirl is called Batman and Robin. Like, it never made any sense. There's, like you say, there's never any story. There's this whole thing about like Bruce deciding that he is going to be Batman forever or something, but it's very weak.
Not because I have to,
Yeah.
but because I choose to. Bitch, if you don't shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna say, I would probably rather see Mamma Mia again because I was kind of enjoying how bad it was. Like, I could see myself hate watching Mamma Mia again, and I've watched Batman Forever plenty as a kid, and I don't know if I would watch that again. I could see myself hate watching both, but
oh man, a real piece of me just like can't allow myself to say Mamma Mia.
One of my favorite things to do after the Les Mis movie came out, and I think everyone was doing it, I was not unique here, but was just doing like the Russell Crowe voice from, like 5 years because you stole some bread, another 5 because you tried to run. Like, everything he sings in that movie is like that register, and it's so funny and fun to do that. And I don't know that like Pierce Brosnan singing is the same parodyable kind of level, but there is something funny about people just trying to sing and being bad. That's why everyone used to watch the first couple weeks of American Idol. So there's that quality to it a little bit. It's location porn. It's like, it is kind of
it looks beautiful.
Nice to watch
Very
those.
sure.
Yeah, we got to go to a Greek
Batman
island.
Forever. I can't choose Mamma Mia. Fuck.
All right, let's do Batman Forever because what's the point in arguing? This one doesn't matter. So what would we say the prompt is? Is the retroactive prompt best hate watch?
Best great actors worst film.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because Tommy Lee Jones and Val Kilmer made a lot of bad
Tommy
movies.
Tommy Lee Jones or Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, you could argue, yeah.
Or even Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And then Meryl Streep.
So maybe there's
Meryl
like
Streep's worst movie.
The prompt is respected actors debasing themselves. Not exactly understanding what kind of movie that they're in.
Exactly.
All right. We'll put it on the board. It's official now. We have codified these 2 movies that you watched by mistake and made them part of Film versus Film podcast lore. They are canon now. This was a loose and wild bonus episode, but I'm glad that we got to talk about these movies because we spent time in the podcast that were not dedicated to them talking about them. So
yes.
It's all
and
good
now. I feel justified in having watched these.
And now we are one step closer to truly being wrapping up on season 2. We've got one more piece of business. Leonard, I know it'll probably bring you joy to just say it, so you can say it.
Oh, my man Quinn's getting punished. He's got to watch the film Twilight, which I have never seen, and plan to keep it that way.
I feel like people who may be listening to this who have watched Twilight are probably like, isn't that really a punishment? Like, people have seen Twilight, but I don't want to watch Twilight. I've spent a lot of my life like avoiding Twilight. I think it was like when it came out, I was like a junior or senior in high school when the movie came out. And I was just like, screw this. I don't need this. But I recognize there's plenty of lame, like we just talked a lot about the Batman Forever movie. There's plenty of lame movies that I watch voluntarily that are probably on par with Twilight in terms of just mediocrity. But I imagine I won't like this movie, but I'm hoping that I will enjoy not liking it. I'm hoping it'll be a kind of a hate watch kind of experience. We'll find out because I will have to stream it or record it in some way.
That was my experience with Green Lantern. It was very much a hate watch, so I enjoyed it.
Green Lantern is the same problem as the Batman movies. I was like, because I rewatched it with you. I watched along with you watching it, streaming it, and boy, is that movie boring. It's not even good enough to be like so bad. It's fun.
And Mamma Mia and Batman were both boring.
Yeah. At different points. Whenever Jim Carrey wasn't on screen, you get a little bit bored.
Yeah, whenever Jim Carrey wasn't on screen, it was boring.
I still love his delivery when they're like charging the villain's lair. I don't know what to call it at the end of Batman Forever, and they're playing like a very cartoony, like they're just playing Battleship and blowing up mines while Batman is taking his bat boat trying to get to their island. And then Jim Carrey just, you sunk my battleship. Like he's having a good time. I appreciate that one person enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
it was
fucking
Jim Carrey
bat boats and bat fucking planes, and they're like, how many new toys can we fucking sell to kids?
All right, well, we will be back next week with a punishment recap episode. We will post on our social channels when and where to watch me watching Twilight, which I'm sure, why would anyone want to watch along with me? But if you do, it will be available to you. And until that time, Leonard, see you at the cinema.
Yeah, I got to make sure I walk into the right theater.
Yeah, go to the right theater, man.